Even though PROCREATE's gallery seems pretty straightforward with its buttons on the top right, there are also some gesture features available in this screen as well. Tap on the name of the file to have the ability to rename it. Tap and hold on a miniature and you'll be able to drag it around and reorganize your gallery however you want it. And lastly, the most important one is that you can pinch and zoom on a miniature. And upon releasing it, it will let you go into a full screen preview of the file. While in this mode, you can swipe around to see your other works. This saves time by not going into the full app by tapping on a file, and you can also compare your files between one another by switching back and forth. A really good time saver. One of the strengths of PROCREATE is its streamlined interface, but it can also be a hurdle at first if you come from a classic program like Photoshop and you are used to your keyboard shortcuts to have the maximum efficiency. PROCREATE also has keyboard shortcuts, but I'll assume not a lot of people use the iPad with an external keyboard when drawing. So instead, it's a good idea to get accustomed to the quick menu and the copy-paste menu. The copy-paste menu display is fixed and you can call it by swiping 3 fingers towards the bottom on the screen. And you can see you have all your copy and paste options without having to go in the layers menu. You can also change the touch gesture to call it in the preference menu, under the touch commands tab. So right here you see mine is set to a swipe with 3 fingers. But the best part also found in this list is the quick menu, right here. I set up mine to appear upon a 4-finger press. When called, it gives you an array of shortcuts fully editable. You can edit each button with a long press on it, opening up a scroll menu to see what function you desire to give to your button. And also you can create multiple quick menus with the button in the middle that allows you to switch quickly between one and the other. With the plus button you can create a new quick menu, which by default will have nothing on it, but it's up to you to decide whatever you want to put in this menu. It's a very good idea to take some time to set this up for your workflow and get used to it, because it can really speed up your work and also make you almost never have to go back to the menus or layer panels to select these commands. In PROCREATE, the adjustments are located here, and be mindful that they will affect the layer selected only. If you want to mimic as best as possible an adjustment layer in another software to affect everything underneath, I recommend you copy the whole canvas, right here, to paste it back. As you can see, this creates a new flat layer with every information on it. While we're at it, we're gonna duplicate it to have a handy backup for later if we need it. And right now, we can use whatever adjustment we want on top of this layer. So, for example, right here, a gradient map. And the best part is we can then later reduce the effect by just reducing the opacity of the layer until we have achieved the desired effect. So maybe about here for me. And you can see the before and the after. Before, after. Also, with more layers, it can be easier to stack multiple effects if we want, instead of maybe doing everything on one layer. So there you have it. Don't hesitate to create a copy of your whole canvas whenever you want to try some effects. It'll save you some headaches later if you change your mind. Under each of your color tabs, you will have the same color palette, and you can select a different one by going into the palette tab right here. Whichever one you set as default will be the one you see whenever you switch between your tabs. You can import multiple palettes created by other people right here on the plus icon, and you can also create your own from scratch. So let's say I'll create a new one, it's already set as default. Now when you tap any square on your palette, it will set the color as the one selected in your color picker. Use this to create a restricted palette for a specific piece, and it will help you keep some harmony and unity in the whole image. Whenever you want to have guides to draw, you can make them appear in the Canvas menu under the Drawing Guides tab. You need to enable it first, and then you can click on Modify Drawing Guide. Here you can select what type of guide you want, be it a simple grid, an isometric grid, perspective rulers, or a symmetry ruler. To use the perspective grid, you'll have to add manually your focal points by tapping on the screen and then dragging them wherever you want. You can use this guide like just a visual aid to help you draw correct lines but still free-handed, or you can turn on the assisted drawings right here, and your lines will then snap to the ruler, just like this. Note that vertical lines will always be vertical if you trace them good, without having any ruler up. This way the lines will be perfect, but also a bit more digital. It's a trade-off to consider. If I turn on the assisted drawing, I have the lines at my disposal, but my lines are free if I ever want to. This way the lines can be perfect with the guide or not. It's a trade-off you have to consider. Anyway, you have all the tools here to realize a difficult angle of view for your scene.